Well, hi there, everyone. This is Dr. Pan with my latest talk. It's August 2016, and I've titled this talk Dancing with the Sublime, delving a little into some of the sublime experiences we have in life, which, unfortunately, for most of the world, is full of the humdrum to the unbearable. The proverbial 99% of the population hate their jobs, family situations, homes, relationships, bank accounts, cars, etc. ad infinitum, culminating in hating the most precious commodity in the universe, my friends, our precious, unique, and inestimable authentic selves, such that now even professionals like medical doctors top the list in committing suicide. Unbelievable. The link will be in the text of my talk, which will be in the resource section of this YouTube presentation. Check it out there. Anyway, according to that link called mentalhealthdaily.com, professions with the highest suicide rates, mentalhealthdaily.com. Anyway, the URL will be in the resource box. The top 11 professions with the highest suicide rates. Top of the list are medical doctors. Top of the list. Frightening. Sad. Horrifying. What can I do about it? I'd like to start off with two of my favorite quotes by the famous Albert Einstein, who said, and I quote, "Reality is an illusion, albeit a persistent one. A human being is part of a whole, called by us a universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness." Sorry, I'm still quoting. Cancel the laugh. "This delusion is a kind of prison for us," Einstein says, "restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task," says Einstein, "must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty." That's what I want to focus on today, my friends. Einstein's exhortation, invitation to us to free ourselves from this delusional reality, what he calls a prison, by widening our circle of compassion, by reaching out to our fellow human beings, to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty. Note, not ugliness. Continuing with Einstein, "Nobody is able to achieve this completely, but the striving for such achievement is in itself a part of the liberation and the foundation for inner security." And in another famous quote by the same Einstein, he says, "There are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle." My friends, I have traveled down both those roads. Although I have a PhD in holistic nutrition, I'm not merely a book-filled academic. I've been to hell and back numerous times. I've also been to paradise and back innumerable times. Based on my experience and the experiences of my clients, therefore, I choose most of the time, unless when I lose consciousness, and not fainting, lose awareness is the word I'm looking for. Most of the time I choose to live my life as though everything is a miracle. However, which miracle? When? Time-wise? And where? Locality? I've always stopped any "what is reality" type conversation dead in its tracks by daring to ask the following. It takes time, I don't care if it's only nanoseconds, for us, all of us, to interpret what our senses perceive, whether sight, smell, taste, touch, sound, etc. For example, when we see an apple, it takes time for the energy, vibration, or frequency, whatever you want to call it, to hit our eyes, and from there to travel along our optic nerve, and from there be interpreted by our brain as, this is an apple, etc. Now, this happens at different speeds for each and every individual because we're all as unique as each snowflake is. Thus, point number 1, not only, and this is Dr. Pan's logic, I've never heard anyone else talk about this. Point number 1, not only do all of us live in the past, that's right. How can you live in the present? Because you're always a couple of nanoseconds behind before your brain interprets what you see, hear, feel, touch. So we're always living in the past. Dear, tune that for a while. But, secondly, we're all out of sync because we each operate at different speeds. So, which reality do we interact in? At which speed? At what color? At what hue? At what sound exactly? No one has any idea, my friends. So, as the famous movie asks, what the bleep is really going on? Good luck with this one. Anyway, today I want to focus on 2 instances of compassion. The one I've entitled, Helping the Groom. It was a few hours to my one and only wedding, to my one and only wife. To this day, I'm 61 now, I was 26 then. So there I was, all alone, trying to get dressed. My bride-to-be, of course, had a dozen attendants. My attempt at dressing was a futile exercise. Most men, due to our caveman DNA, our deoxyribonucleic acid, that's what DNA stands for in Greek, deoxyribonucleic-oxy. Due to our caveman DNA, most men don't know how to dress fabulously. Were it left up to us, man, we'd slap on a pair of shorts, a t-shirt, footwear, and we're out the door. Suddenly, this attractive, oh shut up, once again, caveman DNA is to blame. I mean, we're not blind, okay? Anyway, this attractive young woman appeared at my door, smiled at me, and asked if I needed any help getting dressed. Well, my jaw dropped open. I was totally unsure what to say. Was this a setup? Was my bride trying to trick me or test me? Thankfully, the young woman just marched in and took charge. She dolled me up just dandy. I thanked her and she left. To this day, I know not who she is, what her name is, nothing. Nada. She disappeared as suddenly and unobtrusively as she appeared. Maybe she was an angel who offered her service of love and left when it was delivered. Wouldn't be the first or the last time that an angel appeared to some poor soul to lend a helping hand, would it? Yeah, my friends, the service of love, the compassion that Einstein talked about, defined as an unselfish act by one human to another in their time of need. Such acts are sublime, my friends, truly. Logic cannot define them. Gravity has no hold on them. They just appear. Your choice and my choice is to dance with them or not. My invitation, dance, I say. Dance and dance again. As Zorba said in the famous movie, Zorba the Greek. Dance. I've written and talked a lot about that. In fact, I've written a whole book about it called what is it called? Zorba. Unhinged. All about dance therapy, which has been around for eons, by the way. But anyway, I digress. The second incident I want to talk about that brings out this compassion that we need for each other that Einstein talked about, I've entitled Rehiring the Secretary. Okay. Many, many years ago, a secretary of mine just up and left. No notice, nothing. I asked why. She gave me an ephemeral, empty kind, no nonsense kind of excuse, Anyway, off she went. It's a free world. Or so they tell us. I sat down and thought to myself, okay, I want someone reliable, someone stellar, someone brilliant and with staying power. So I decided to shoot for the stars. I'm famously and fabulously known for my unconventionality. When people tell me something can't be done, before you know it, I've done it. I put an ad in the paper, thusly, offering to pay double what everyone else was paying. My colleagues were shocked and scoffed and angry at me. Suddenly, though, during the afternoon of the first day the ad appeared, the phone rang. I answered. Hello. Hi, said a feminine voice that I thought sounded familiar. Do you know who's speaking? She said. I'm not sure, I retorted. Why don't you enlighten me? It's Susan. This is a made-up name, okay? I see, said I icily. I see. Because Susan was the secretary that had just walked out on me. Yes, once again icily. What's going on, Susan? Oh, dear, dear, dear. Well, she says, I see in the paper you're looking for a secretary. Yes, this sardonically from me once again. I think you know the reason why. Yeah, I do, she said. I walked out on you because of an untrue, vicious rumor I heard about you, that you overwork your staff and you don't pay them enough. Mm-hmm. And? Do you still believe this rumor? Well, obviously not, she said, because you're offering double the salary everyone else is paying. Mm-hmm. Will you forgive me and allow me to reapply for the position? Don't show me any favoritism. Interview me on merit. Interview other applicants as well. And let's see what happens. Will you at least let me try? Lord, I thought to myself, why do these things happen to me? Sure, says I. Come in and apply. Back at the ranch, I interviewed no one else because I knew I was going to rehire her. To make her sweat a little, though, I told her I'd see her in 3 days because I was fully booked up till then, interviewing other applicants. Susan and I, my friends, worked together as a team that did so well in every sphere, even financially. My scoffing colleagues followed my example and doubled their secretary salaries as well. We all prospered. See, that spirit of compassion equals prosperity. Susan stayed with me till I emigrated from that country. Ah, the power of God-force love. By the way, God-force love has now been proven scientifically by a 75-year-long Harvard University study. So pay attention, okay? Only people who are in tune with this God-force love can relate and understand the miracles that happen when you're aligned to God-force love. Innate within us stirs this God-force love. It's inexorable. It's infinite. It's so sweet and so effective. I'm enamored with it. Folks, I could go on with true story after true story, but this talk is getting a little long in the tooth. So, I want to say adios for now, but one final word before I go today, or two. Today, as I said, I focused on Einstein's, and I quote, "Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty." End quote. So compassion is the message of today's talk, my friends. Compassion. So my bio will be at the resource box, etc. And to end off, I have come to realize that paradise or hell, literally and physically, is manifested by each and every one of us, depending on our state of mind from moment to moment. You see, the new sciences of psychoneuroimmunology, the old science of the placebo effect, quantum physics, and countless phenomena such as epigenetics and other science, etc., neuroplasticity, another new science, countless phenomena that used to be unexplained in the past are now explained scientifically with these new sciences, like phenomena such as unexplained healings, rising from the dead even, shape-shifting, so-called multiple personalities, etc., are proof beyond doubt to those who have eyes to see that we have been lied to regarding our reality. We really have. Google it and check out my resource box. Mainstream science is now debunking our Newtonian reality. We each create and perceive our own individual and unique reality. That's what the new sciences say. We've been brainwashed into believing that we're mere weak, vulnerable, ignorant, death and sickness-prone humans. And so, mem by mem, M-E-M-E, mem, Google it, mem by mem, we fall into the morphogenetic fields of our environments, and we eke out our miserable, fear-filled existences 99% of the time, proverbially, barring an exception here and there. So, of course, my disclaimer, listen, the contents of this article and talk are for informational purposes only, okay? And do not render any medical or psychological advice, opinion, diagnosis, or treatment, alright? Read the whole disclaimer in the resource box. That's it for today, my friends. I love you all. This is Dr. Pan saying adieu till next time.